all of the witches in the village made fun of my cooking. So I cut off their fingers and made a finger-licking cauldron curry. Happy Halloween! I love this time of year. It's when you get a chance to dress up and be something different. Not that being an evil witch is very far from my own personality. Today on Cravings, we're making a finger-licking cauldron curry. I'm going to fashion fingers made out of ground meat, and I'm going to cook this in a delicious blood-stained curry. This is going to wow all of your family and friends. I've got a 4 ml can of whole tomatoes here. Now, I prefer to use canned tomatoes in this recipe just because the color is a lot more vibrant. But if you prefer, you can use fresh tomatoes instead. This is going to yield about 3 cups. I'm simply going to take all of the contents of this can, pour it into my blender, and I'm going to puree it. Let's start with the fingers. I'm going to be using 1 pound of lean ground beef. Now, you don't have to use beef, you can use mutton or even lamb. And the reason that I'm using lean meat is I want to make sure that there's no fat in this meat. If there's fat in your meat, there's a higher chance of the fingers breaking in the curry. In my food processor, I'm going to throw in half a large onion. Now, this is roughly going to yield about 1 cup. I'm going to process the onion, and once that's done, I'm going to add my ground beef right over the onion. I'm also going to add 2 tablespoons of garlic paste. We want to keep those vampires away, as well as some spices. I'm going to use 1 teaspoon each of chili powder, cumin powder, and garam masala. I'm also going to add some salt and pepper to taste, 1 whole egg, and I'm going to grind all of this together till it's a smooth paste. I'm going to scrape all of that onion right into the mixture and grind it again. We want to make sure that this meat mixture is quite cohesive because I'm going to be using a piping bag later, and I want to make sure there's no big lumps of onion or anything else in this mixture. Like with all of my recipes, I like to fry a little piece of the filling just to make sure that the salt and spice levels are perfect. To make the witch's fingers, I'm going to use the help of a disposable icing bag as well as a large tip. My tip is about 1 centimeter in diameter, and I'm simply going to add some of my meat mixture right into this icing bag. I'm going to pipe these into finger length sizes right on top of my baking mat. And then I'm going to make depressions in each one just where the fingernail would be. I'm going to fill these depressions with egg white, and then I'm going to place a flake of almonds right on top of each of these fingernails. Now, the reason that I'm adding egg white is I want to make sure that these almonds are well secured in the curry. I'm also going to brush the top of the fingernail with some more egg white. These are going to be baked in a 350-degree oven for at least 10 to 15 minutes. We want to make sure that these fingers are cooked. Once my fingers are cooked, I'm going to take them out of the oven. I'm going to allow them to cool, and then using a knife, I'm just going to free them off my silicone mat, and I'm going to leave them aside. Now let's start with our curry base. In my cauldron, I'm going to add a 1/4 cup of oil, and I'm going to saute 1 cup of finely diced onions. I'm going to follow that with 2 tablespoons of garlic paste and some spice powders. I'm going to add 2 teaspoons of chili powder as well as 2 teaspoons of cumin powder. Give this a quick stir and add salt to taste. I'm then going to pour in the 3 cups of Roma tomatoes that I pureed earlier. I'm going to pour this right in, and don't feel shy to add a little bit of water to your blender so you don't waste any of that deliciousness. I'm going to pour that in as well. I'm going to mix everything together, and I'm just going to let this boil for about 5 minutes. You want to make sure that all of the spices marry together really, really well. The curry has now developed a beautiful blood-like color, and I'm simply going to take the witch's fingers that have already cooled, and I'm just going to insert this very gently into my curry. I'm going to be very, very gentle with everything because I really don't want these fingers to break. Once you've inserted this in, I'm just going to let this boil for a little bit just so that the witch's fingers get a little bit of flavor from the curry, and it's pretty much ready to serve. As long as you make the witch's fingers the same size as I did, you will roughly get about 22 to 24 witch's fingers out of this batch. Now, I like to leave some in my curry, but I also like to serve some on the side. I know a lot of people like to just snack on these. This also makes a great appetizer. You can actually serve the fingers just by themselves with some blood red ketchup. By the way, I found this cooking pot at a Chinese store and I picked it up because it resembled a cauldron. If you don't have something like this, you can always make your curry in just a regular pot and you can transfer it to a glass cauldron that you can get at any store during Halloween. And if you can't find a glass cauldron, you can also serve it in a plastic cauldron. This is going to be the centerpiece of any Halloween occasion that you have. Before I serve it, I'm just going to add some tapioca pearls. This is also known as Sabudhana in Hindi. I basically just soaked these tapioca pearls for at least an hour, and then I'm just going to sprinkle a few in as a top, just as a garnish. These look like little pus spoils and they're super creepy. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed this very gross looking yet very tasty recipe. All of your family and friends are going to love it. If you want to try some of my other recipes, make sure to click here for my Satan spawn. These look so creepy that most of my friends didn't even want to try them, but they are super delicious. As well as my white chocolate mice. They look creepy too, but when you cut into them, they have a beautiful soft center and are sweet and delicious. I really hope to see you again. Don't forget that I upload new videos every Friday. Make sure that you're subscribed. Make sure to follow me on all of my social channels on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and even Snapchat. Until I see you again, do take care.
And happy Halloween!
Come from underneath. Okay.
Enough, I can't breathe. Stop.
Just stop it.
Mom!